Hi everyone, it's Lynnea for LDRS Creative. We're going to make a really quick and easy card using some stamping and some masking techniques, and then I'm even going to be doing some Copic coloring. Don't worry, this might all sound intimidating, but I promise you this card is quite simple to make and you're going to be able to follow right along with these easy techniques. So to start off with, I'm using the Bouquet Maker 5x7 stamps, and there are also coordinating mask stencils available. I highly recommend that you get these along with the stamps. It's going to make stamping a bouquet or a little arrangement of flowers so much easier rather than having to stamp and fussy cut masks. These little stencil masks are already here. You can kind of see how I keep them in my packaging. I just add little strips of low-tack tape, like a masking tape, and attach that to that big negative piece. That way I never lose my masks. I used the second largest mixed scallop rectangle die to cut a scallop rectangle panel. And here is one of the things I like to do whenever I'm stamping anything, even if I'm not masking. I like to grab the stamps that I want to use, and before I add any ink or anything, I just arrange them onto my panel. This allows me to get the layout kind of nailed down before I actually put ink to paper. So I have a grouping of 3 flowers. I have a big one, a medium, and then a small one. And then I grabbed a leaf just to kind of make sure that everything's going to fit within the boundaries of this scalloped rectangle. Now I'm going to start stamping and masking. Now the thing to remember when you're masking is that whatever you want to be on top, you want to see the full image, that is what you have to stamp first. So for me, that's my smallest flower. I wanted that to be the full flower that I'm going to see. Next, I wanted to see that second largest, that medium flower, but I'm bringing both in just again so that I can get placement. Then I'm going to position that second flower. I'll pick it up with my MISTI, and here's where the masking comes into play. Because I've positioned that second flower over top of the first, if you don't mask off that first flower, you're just going to get a bunch of conjoined lines. So I found the coordinating mask for that small flower, the one that I stamped first, and I'm going to position this right over the top. Now here's a little tip. That mask has a bit of lift to it. It's the same width or depth as a stencil, so you're going to have to add a little bit of extra pressure where the edge of that mask is. You can also shift that mask just a little bit to the side so that you can actually see the black stamped line of the first flower. That's going to help ensure that the lines of the second flower meet up perfectly with the first. Now I'm just going to go ahead and keep stamping and masking off. So now I have 2 flowers that I have already stamped, and I want to go to the third. So I need to mask off both of those first flowers so that I can stamp the third one right over the top. And when I reveal or peel back these masks, you're going to see that I've created this little arrangement of flowers where it looks like the small one is in the front, that second one is in the middle, and then that largest one is in the background. Now I want to add some leaves, and I want the leaves to be behind all of the flowers, which means I need to mask off all 3 flowers in order to stamp those leaves fully in the background. So I'm going to cover up the largest flower and the medium flower, and then I'll stamp down my leaves, and then I'm just going to shift my masks around. Now I need the small flower and the medium one masked off, and I'm just going to add leaves in a grouping of 3 around my arrangement of flowers. Masking really is such a great way to get some depth and dimension without any extra bulk on your cards. And the final reveal when you finally peel off all of those masks is just super magical. Now before I put my MISTI away, I did stamp a sentiment from the Aligned Geos stamp, and it's just a little love you that you'll see at the end. I kind of nestled it in those leaves. I'm going to use just a few Copic markers. I have some pinks, some blues, yellows, and greens, and I kind of held them on camera there, so if you want to take a screen grab, you can. I color very simply. I learned how to color from dark to light to create lots of depth and shadows, but there are so many different ways to color. You can go light, medium, dark, and then back to medium, and then light. However you learned how to color is going to work just fine. I have 3 markers for each color group, I should say. So for my pinks, I have RV17, 14, and 13. And I do think I might have brought in some RV11 for this one just because the petals were a little larger. So I just start with my darkest one, which was the RV17. And I like to add shadows at the base of the petal. This is like a peony-esque flower, and so all those petals kind of come from the bottom of the flower and come up towards the top. So to create that depth and shadow, I just keep my darkest marker towards the bottom. And there are lines in these petals, so if you kind of follow those lines with your marker, it's going to do all the work for you. Then I blend out that darker color with my medium marker, which is my RV14. Then I moved up to RV13, and then I just kind of filled in the whole petal with RV11 just to blend all those colors together. And you'll see that I follow this basic method of coloring for the other flowers too. My next color combo is for the blues, and again I just have 3 marker colors for my blues. I have B04, B02, and B00. I do use a little Copic chart just to figure out kind of what colors I like, but a basic rule of thumb is to kind of skip a number. So like I have B04 and then I go down to 2 and then down to the 00. Just because you don't need to have all the markers in between. I find skipping 2 gives you great dimension and depth. And I don't have a whole bunch of Copic markers. If you've seen me Copic color before, you have probably seen me use these exact same markers. These are the ones I like for blues, these are the ones I like for bright pink, and then for yellow my go-to combination is Y19, Y08, and Y06. I don't find that I need to have a lot of Copic markers. I just kind of find the colors that I like in a grouping that I like, and then I just stick with those and just kind of buy the refills. But you can use whatever method you like for coloring. That's one of the great things about coloring and card making, paper crafting and crafting in general. If you wanted to watercolor this, you could have stamped and masked on watercolor cardstock, and then you could use watercolors. You can use colored pencils, even like glitter gel pens or something. I just encourage you to use what you're comfortable with and what you like to use just to add some quick color to this arrangement of flowers. My last little bit of coloring here is for the leaves, and my go-to green color combination is YG09, YG06, and YG03. And again, I just started with my darkest color, blended out with my medium, and then all over with my lightest. So here's my finished bouquet of flowers. And this was really easy to do, really quite simple. The hardest part was coloring, and my coloring is quite simple, so that didn't even really take that long. Now you could take this little panel with this cute little arrangement of flowers and really dress this up with lots of layers. You could add gems if you wanted to, but I mail quite a few of my cards, so I wanted to keep it simple. I just cut a black layer that was just a little bit larger than that scalloped rectangle, and I'm going to layer that with liquid adhesive and then add those popped up with foam tape onto my card base. I'm not going to add any gems or anything so that this will go through the mail easily, and this card is finished. I hope that this video tutorial inspired you to grab those Bouquet Maker stamps and masking stencils and try this easy masking technique. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye!